Hi, everyone. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I can't fucking get it to connect or something. It's working, but it won't connect to StreamYards for some reason. So I'm trying it in another browser as we speak. But I didn't want to put this off any longer. So, what's going on with Trump? Holy shit. What was I just watching? I was just watching a news one. Let me pull that up again. Oh, I was watching Fox. I don't want to watch Fox. Let me see. So I do I want CBS or ABC? Do I want CBS or ABC? What do you guys think? You know, we're gonna go with ABC. No, well, yeah, we'll do ABC for now. Nope, we're not gonna do that. That one looks boring. CBS. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share screen. Okay. And volume up.
These days is of high concern because of the threat environment.
And you saw how quickly they rushed
Hi,
the
everyone.
stage. They were there on edge. Like you said, we actually have new cell phone video that shows what appears to be the shooter down on a rooftop. Now, this is consistent with information we're getting from federal sources saying that the gunman possibly fired from an elevated position. Let's take a look at this video. It appears that we're seeing someone on a roof there. Potentially, this is someone who was outside the security perimeter. I'm going to bring in our reporter, Olivia Rinaldi. Olivia, what can you tell us? We've been getting some of your video in the newsroom here. What did you see? What did you hear?
Adriana, it was a terrifying moment. You know, Trump was probably a few minutes into his remarks, and all of us were waiting for a vice presidential announcement. Instead, we heard successive loud noises, loud bangs that were playing. It sounded like shots. We immediately took cover. I pulled out my phone and I started recording. You can hear my voice there, pretty shaky. You could start to hear Secret Service also through Trump's microphone trying to get him down on the ground. We were down for probably, it felt like a lifetime. It was probably like 30 seconds or so. And then I popped my head up and I could see Donald Trump surrounded by security and Secret Service and pumping his fist. And he wouldn't, they were trying to get him off the stage and he was resisting them a little bit and putting his fist up in the air. After that happened, they cleared him. We could hear the motorcade leave right away. Our security personnel was with us as well. We had all gotten down. We saw Scott McFarlane next to us.
What I've been able to learn from the news so far is that the gunman is dead, I guess, and two other people were shot and killed. And it looks like Donald Trump was hit in the face or something, or the eye or whatever.
And a couple of pieces of equipment also fell down with him as we got down on the ground. Chaos ensued after that. I was looking at the bleachers to the left of where Trump was, and you could see people cleared out of there. You could see some blood on the bleachers as well. And I watched.
Yeah, exactly, Purple Heart. Yeah.
Yellow crime scene.
That's what I was just saying to Mike. I was like, you know, if he wins the election, now this would be why. This would be the reason why.
I mean, we're at these rallies multiple times a week. I was just at one in Doral, Florida. It's the unimaginable, but it's something we prepare for, and it's something that, as Margaret was saying, security personnel prepare for.
He was hit in the ear. Okay.
But overall, just a very, very tragic event that happened here today.
It's something you can prepare for, but never really be ready for. Olivia Rinaldi, thank you for that report from the ground. Mark, this time we're saying where the threat has been higher.
Exactly, on many fronts, foreign and domestic. But I wanted to underscore and come back to when I said this wasn't unexpected, I meant because of that threat environment. But I wanted to go to the specific language that was in a report our Pat Milton put out earlier today. She obtained a joint threat assessment that in preparation for the RNC that's just about to get underway in Milwaukee, that large Republican gathering. And at that time, law enforcement said no credible specific threats were identified at the time in the assessment, but there was a warning the RNC could be viewed as an attractive target due to the symbolic nature of the political convention. So they were putting out a general warning to be on alert in Milwaukee, where a lot of those Secret Service agents are concentrated right now. The Secret Service with the 45th president and Republican nominees, who we're looking at ushering him off stage. In that photo, you can see him with his arms around those officers encircling him. They are with him at all times, his detail. But I'm just underscoring here that the FBI, Secret Service, DHS, Milwaukee Police Department, Southeastern Wisconsin Threat Analysis Center, all of them right now out in Wisconsin are on high alert because of this political violence, domestic violent extremism, which means somebody radicalized here at home, and the terror threat. So this is an environment where we are all on alert. We have to learn more about that shooter who has apparently been neutralized, as we've been reporting. They'll want to understand his motivations, any connections he might have, whether he was a lone wolf, any other details as our Sam Vinograd and others who are operators can give better context to. But I just want to make sure we put into context that there was a warning that went out as early as this morning about the potential for violence at the Republican convention. As we can expect, there will be a similar warning at the DNC when it gets underway.
I mean, like, if the RNC convention's in 2 days, I mean, if there was any cause for concern about whether or not they were going to settle on Trump as their primary, I think it's safe to say that this definitely ensured him winning that bid anyways. I mean, every Republican there would pretty much have to, consider their own constituents and their own jobs and everything. And there's no way that they can turn this down now. It's going to reflect poorly on each and every one of them, which is bullshit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't ever want to ever see or hope for or whatever, anything bad to befall anyone. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care who the hell it is. But it's just fucked up though that this is going to be the outcome of it. Is that people are going to irrationally choose him. And that's what happens when people try to assassinate a candidate or a political figure. You martyr them. Whether you're successful or not, they become a martyr. They get everything. Well, if they survive, they get everything they want, I guess. But I don't know. It still seems very irrational to me that people do that. But I mean, I get it. I do. All right, let me see. And why isn't this going over? Oh, I'm going to have to rename it. This is so stupid. Although I shouldn't complain. I can remember back in the old days where I'd have to do like the whole format factory or whatever. Now in iMac, I just literally just renamed the file and it reformats itself. It's so cool. And then it will pull up eventually as soon as it's done loading. All right, I'm going to go back to this.
Morning, and here we are, political violence unfolding at a political rally in America. Scott McFarland was there. He was ushered out by security personnel. We have him now on the phone. Scott? Scott, if you can hear me, go ahead.
What am I doing in front of him? He's not getting anything. Can you dial into that same number?
We've lost Scott McFarland, but I'll bring it back to our discussion here and summarize what we know so far for anyone joining us now. Shots have rung out at a rally in Butler County, Pennsylvania, where President Trump was addressing a crowd of thousands, something that he does day in and day out. These events have happened so much. The security
Richard Simmons passed away.
Are typically so tight metal detectors, wands, bomb-sniffing
He
dogs,
wasn't at the rally,
Secret
was he?
Service in uniform and in plain clothes. And we saw, as soon as what sounded like firecrackers rang out, Secret Service personnel rushing the president, removing him from the area. His fist goes up. He puts his hand to his head, and you can see in the close-up photos of the president, blood on his face. We have been told by the Trump campaign, as well as the Secret Service, that the president is safe. We're told that he was examined or is being examined by medical personnel. We don't know where he is at the moment. Our Scott McFarland, who was on the ground, reported that he saw a helicopter arriving on scene.
Okay.
Scott McFarland
I'm
has
gonna
been
leave this for a
exemplary
second.
work along with our team on the ground. Since he can't join us just now at the moment to read.
All right, so I'm going to share something else. So I'm going to share the actual rally from where he was, when and where he was shot. So let's hashtag Donald Trump. Okay. Third paragraph. Oh, okay. Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., posted a photo on Twitter of Trump, his fist raised and his face bloody in front of an American flag with the words, "He'll never stop fighting to save America." Oh my, how quickly did he do that? Like within 5 minutes or something? I mean, did he at least make sure that his father was okay first? Or did he, I don't know. This just seems awfully convenient. I'm sorry. I mean, I get moving fast, I do, or whatever, I'm capitalizing on a moment, okay, fine. But this is just a little too fast for, Anyway, this is where I'm going to play when and where he was shot at. And I'm going to slow it down. And I'm going to put on full screen and whatnot. Here, let me do this too. So, I don't even need to be on there now. Okay. Around 0.5.
President in the history of our country took over, and look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people.
Oh, wait, no, it's, yeah, wait.
To really see something.
Okay, yep.
Want to really see something that's said. Take a look what happened.
Now, what happened there? So, like, I get where the shots first came about, you see and you hear that. But here, though, it sounds like something else happened, but I don't know what. Is that another gunshot?
Who's there? Hold, when you're ready, on you.
Move! Again.
Move! What happened to our country? What happened?
Okay, so judging from that, he was shot on the side of his face that was facing away from the crowd, okay? And he was standing to his side, and his head was turned sideways and everything. I mean, but then that part that I pointed out just a few seconds ago, like, okay, what happened there now? that looks like it's something occurred like on the opposite side of where he was shot. So like he was standing there, he was facing to the right, and he was shot on the right side of his head or whatever. But then that next commotion or whatever, it was like all the way on his left side, like directly diagonal. What the hell was that? Watch it. Gonna be up there in just a second. Yeah, something else happened there. All right, I'm gonna rewind it and play it at full speed. Or normal speed, whatever.
Hold, when you're ready. What happened to our country? Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Moving the spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Moving to the spare. Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready. You ready?
You missed that second part already?
Move. Up. Spare out to the spare.
Okay. Huh. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to a news coverage. What's going on live? And who's playing shit live? Anyone? Any news? Okay, here we go, ABC.
We don't have all these things confirmed yet, so you know this is your perspective here. But when you say that you believe that 2 people were shot, could you actually see people, potential victims?
What I seen, and to the best of my knowledge, sir, is that and again I was hearing from other news sources as well. But what that I seen, when I first seen there was blood on a couple of people. Someone was shot just like about 5 feet right behind us, to be honest with you. So we were that close, and thank God we weren't shot either.
And where were you located? We're looking at the video right now. This is the former president being brought back to his feet after those shots were fired. Were you on the stands behind Donald Trump, or were you in front of him?
If you're looking exactly at him, we'd be on the left side, actually. We were the left side of the other stands where you've seen those big TVs.
So the left side of the stands facing the president or behind the former president?
Facing the president. We were more on the sides, looking on the side of the president, so facing him.
And Leonard, let me just ask you too. Obviously, you go to we've been talking about this, the division in this country, the polarization. But here you are. Obviously, you're exercising your right to support whichever politician you believe in. And you go to an event like this, you don't expect there to be violence. What's in your heart right now?
Well, what's in the heart right now is I'm encouraging
I know it sounds
people
not a good
to pray
indicator.
to Lord Jesus, because right now our country's divided. I'm a millennial generation. I'm 30 years old, and this is my first time being at a Trump rally. And the reason why I'm supporting the former president is because
I mean, especially like in an open, it looked like it was pretty much an open field type of area. So I didn't see many buildings or whatever. So you're going to get echoes. And I think that without structures for the sound to reverberate off of, it's not going to sound very impressive. You know what I mean? It's not going to sound like massive or whatever. I don't know. You need objects in which for the sound waves to bounce off of. That's what makes it so loud, I think. So yeah, I agree with that.
Policies that he has to keep the country safe and secure borders and everything like that. So that's why I stand for what he stands for. And I encourage the American people to pray to the Lord Jesus that we need to be united as a people. We need to repent and we need to be healed as a nation, because right now our nation is not going down a good road. So I encourage people to pray.
I have no idea who that is.
It's a powerful thing.
Well, Leonard Verdetto, we are so thankful that you are okay and that you were able to make it out of there safe. Thank you again for your time. We truly appreciate it. I do want to bring in another witness who was there at this rally today, Robert Rosano. Robert, can you hear me?
Whoever.
Yes, sir, I can.
Walk me through what you saw, what you heard, and how close were you to the former president as these reported shots rang out?
We were, myself and a good buddy of mine, we were 4 rows back from the center of the former president. Former president was facing directly at us, and it was a good crowd. You know, everyone was pretty electric. It had been a long day. You know, the heat was kicking in a little bit, but people were happy. You know, people were happy to see the former president speak, and you know, he came out to God Bless America, and the crowd was electric. And you know, it was probably a good 10-15 minutes into the speech that
I'm going to
we started to hear
from Twitter the video that someone just shared with me. Thank you. I don't know if you want me to reveal that who you are and that you shared it, so I'll hold off on that. But thank you.
You can see behind us the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees out there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea.
You said volume though.
But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof. And he had a gun, right? He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, oh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him up the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, we just
what?
Definitely just the point I was watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%. Okay. Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but,
sure.
It was a rifle of some sort. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I know all about guns. Yeah, I don't know. It was a rifle of some sort. Like, really? Wow. It's just funny. That just sounds funny. I don't know. Like, I don't expect anyone to know what kind of rifle it is by sight or whatever. I'm always curious though, like in any shooting such as this, because oftentimes the shooter will kind of perch like a bit away, there'll be oftentimes these will be long shots. How do they know? How do they just seem to know exactly where to pinpoint the shooter? Like exactly what direction it came from, exactly where the person was, I say guy, it's kind of sexist, but really most shooters are male, but so I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions I think that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Yes, she was right in front of me. She kept going back and forth right in front of me. Yes.
Tell us about her.
I mean, nice horse. He right off the flag. He seemed very, patriotic.
But what's the significance of her?
No, he asked me if I saw a horse.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a terrible thing. And you should stay safe with your family and
Gotcha.
yourself. Thanks for your time.
Man.
Oh, I don't want to replay it. All right. So, and then over here, Sheil shared this with me. Thank you. This is a post here. It says, news, the shooter at the Trump rally is dead, and so is one bystander, Butler County DA tells ABC. DA Richard A. Goldinger, Jesus Christ, these names, I swear to God, also says there's a, quote, possibly a second bystander dead as well. Lots of shots fired, but little accuracy. Oh, I don't know if I'd call it little accuracy. I mean, if the dude managed to hit the president or the ex-president, I know you're supposed to always call them the president, even when they're no longer the president, but just, I don't know. I don't really like doing that. Anyways, the shooter was able to hit the ex-president and possibly take out the lives of two other people, at least one. I mean, I don't think I would call it little accuracy. I mean, maybe not ideal accuracy, but effective accuracy, I think. All right, let me go back here. Where am I? I don't know why my freaking camera isn't working with this. It's pissing me off. Where's the live one I was watching? Oh, not that one. It's this one. Okay.
Which sounded like gunshots.
In the stands. And we've heard those reports from several witnesses now that there was blood in the stands, that several people had to be carried out. And again, the reports from the district attorney there in Pennsylvania telling us that at least one bystander was killed in this incident, perhaps a second, and that the shooter is dead. We're still waiting on more information from other sources to put all of that together, but I do want to bring in our Chief Global Affairs Correspondent, Martha Raddatz, who's been following this. And Martha, you're getting more reaction tonight.
More reaction and just in from former President Obama saying there's absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Although we don't yet know exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt and use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in our politics. Michelle and I are wishing him a quick recovery. There is multiple reactions such as that and everyone, of course, glued to the television watching this event play out over and over. I've been talking to people I know in the military who are trained in weapons, and they too said this was probably far away from President Trump, and yet clearly a very, very dangerous situation. If, in fact, he was grazed by a bullet, that would explain why others were injured and possibly killed as well. This colleague from the military said that he believed they probably, listening to those sounds again and again, said the shooter probably got off a couple of rounds because we heard those sounds, those explosive sounds, those sounds of gunfire, several of them. He said the shooter likely got off a couple of rounds before he was then probably taken out by the Secret Service or whoever.
Okay, so then that second, like, after a few seconds there, hearing that, and it did sound like a single bullet or a single shot, anyways, that we heard a few seconds later where everyone screamed. It sounds like possibly that was the Secret Service killing the shooter. Holy shit. Look at this chat over here. False flag staged. Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised it's YouTube. I mean, of course, you know, conspiracy theorists are going to be over here on YouTube. And I don't know. I don't know. I gotta say, I wasn't thinking that at all. I mean, yeah, it's always in the back of your mind or whatever, maybe, but I wasn't seriously considering that or thinking that. But then upon hearing how his son had very promptly and quickly put out his tweet, I don't know. That puts me off a little bit.
Was outside that perimeter. But it's true. I mean, we've said this all afternoon. It is almost impossible to completely protect someone as hard as you try.
And Martha, what you're saying and what your sources are telling you lines up with what we've been hearing throughout the night, too, from the witnesses, that they heard several pops. It sounded like gunfire. The first couple were quieter, and then like the louder shots that came afterwards, which some have suggested, including Brad Garrett, our law enforcement expert, also described as potentially law enforcement fire.
So looking at chat here, Billy Martin says, do they allow guns at his rallies? I don't know. I think that they allow guns at all rallies pretty much, right? Like, so like the RNC convention, like they allow guns at that. I mean, I don't think that they can really not allow them. Like maybe in an auditorium or some shit like that, you know, because it's like then it's on usually it's on like a private property kind of thing. Like if it's at like a sports arena, you know what I mean? Like a big enclosed place or something. But this would look like it's just like an open field. So I don't see how they can disallow that. Where was it? This was Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, it was Pennsylvania. I think that they're probably allowed. So Obama made a statement before Biden. I don't know if Biden made a statement or not yet. I mean, this just happened. So, I mean, it's going to take a minute for people to do this shit, you know? I mean, and besides, Biden is currently the president. Obama's not. So Obama has more free time on his hands. Although, I don't know, maybe not.
Bring back at the shooter.
Exactly. And I think that is likely what will play out. We obviously have a lot to learn in the coming hours and the coming days, but that makes sense. And also, when you look at President Trump, where President Trump put his hand to his ear and hear that sound, it sounds like it was a while getting to him. So that also would tell you that it was beyond the security perimeter. And that is a big area, a wide open area. People could probably stand quite far away from there. And of course, we know there are long weapons out there.
And as we've been hearing from law enforcement tonight, they are treating this as a potential assassination attempt. Again, trying to get more information. That's how they're treating it right now until they get those extra details. Let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. And I understand that you now have a response specifically from President Biden.
The president is out with this statement, and he notes.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that. I'm got that pause. I don't want to miss it, so I'm over here in chat again. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know if they would, since he's a former president. I didn't know how they were. Yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't because it's an outdoor setting and because it's in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, I don't think that they can really prevent it. But also, too, this sounds like this was. These were shots taken from a rifle some distance away. So there's a good chance that wherever this shooting gun was located was outside of the rally. I mean, it's possible with it being an outdoor setting like that. So I don't know. So maybe they're not allowed, but it wouldn't made a difference regardless. I assume guns were mandatory at Trump rallies. Okay, I want to hear this.
Of course, that he has been briefed on this. He is watching this unfold from his beach house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And the president says in this statement, I'm going to read it to you. He says, quote, "I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who are at the rally as we await further information." The president goes on to say, "Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety," adding, "There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it." Of course, Whit, we know this moment comes at a point in our nation's history when political rhetoric in this country is extremely divisive. And we are already seeing this incident being politicized. Some Republicans pointing a finger at the president already, arguing, of course, baselessly that President Biden is somehow to blame for this, noting, of course, that President Biden has put at the center of this campaign the argument that Trump is a danger to democracy. But tonight, the statement from the president just now, of course, grateful that Donald Trump is safe and doing well, praying for him, and thankful, of course, for the Secret Service for getting him to safety. Whit.
All right, that statement from President Biden. Mary Bruce, thank you. I want to go back to John Santucci, our executive editorial producer. John, you've been in touch with Trump's family.
The eldest son of the president. He tells ABC News he has spoken to his father in just the last couple of moments, described former President Trump as being in good spirits. He is still at the hospital, according to his son, and he told me with his father, he's, quote, never gonna stop. Now, obviously, this is the first time we've heard of the family being in touch with the former president, and as we've been reporting here on ABC with you for much of the last few hours, we know that many of the family was not with.
Yeah, you know what this did? Okay. Remember the 2016 election, when they were still duking it out in the primaries, that one Bernie Sanders rally with the bird came and flew up and landed on the podium there, and the audience just went fucking nuts, and it was seen as like this majestic sign, or this whatever you want to call it, or whatever it's meant to be, This is Trump's version of that right now. That right there, the picture of him with the American flag in the background, blood all over his face, his fist up in the air. That's his fucking bird moment. That's his bird moment right there. Like fucking, oh my God.
Donald Trump at this rally, of course, some of them getting ready for the Republican convention starting Monday out in Milwaukee. Donald Trump Jr., of course, a frequent presence by his father's side, probably the most politically active of the Trump children in this state of affairs. Of course, his daughter Ivanka has not been on the trail. She was someone that went to the White House when Donald Trump took the presidency in 2017. But Donald Trump Jr. has been that fixture.
I'm looking at the chat again. Bill I. Martin says, "I'm surprised they are saying false flag. Usually conspiracy theorists are Trump supporters." Surprisingly, it's it knows no political parties when it comes to conspiracy theories. Like, because I can, like, liberals, from what I've seen, is like in the anti-vax world and everything, like, it doesn't, these things don't care what political party you are. I think like certain conspiracy theories or whatever will kind of land better in some, parties more than others, just because of the frame of mind or whatever. But yeah, no one's immune to them. So yeah, absolutely. Both sides support conspiracies. But yeah, the false flag thing, though, it's I don't know. Damn it, I keep hitting the wrong one.
In Republican politics by his father's side, a very active fundraiser for his father. And of course, someone that, at a rally like this would have normally been there, if not speaking with, alongside his father. So, of course, my understanding is that immediately the family has been trying to reach him, and now they have indeed made contact with their father, who, again, just to reiterate, ABC News has learned is, quote, in good spirits, according to the former president's eldest son, Whit.
And John, forgive me if I didn't hear you earlier, talking about the former president being in good spirits and he's doing fine. Are we getting any word yet on whether he was injured in any way in this incident?
Yeah.
So I asked Donald Trump Jr. His understanding when I spoke to him over the phone what happened. He said it remains unclear. Even the former president was not clear on exactly what happened. Donald Trump Jr. and his siblings, I'm told from other sources, I did not ask Donald Trump Jr. this, but I know from multiple other sources, have been in touch with the Secret Service trying to get updates themselves as to what has happened. But as our team, I know you spoke to Aaron Katersky and others than Josh Margolin here at ABC News, it's an active investigation, still trying to understand what happened. Well, one thing Donald Trump Jr. did say to me we were on the phone, is that, it was, his father made a remark that it was a lot of blood. But again, not something, from my understanding of the conversation I had with the former president's eldest son, not something that was heightened alarm, if you will, right? As we reported a statement that came out from the Trump campaign that he is, quote, fine. When I had that conversation with Donald Trump Jr., which seemed to emphasize that things are okay, remaining under observation, a situation still unfolding as to what happened, but nevertheless, the former president okay, and again, according to his son, Whit, in good spirits.
John Santucci, our executive editorial producer, with word from the Trump family tonight. We are just coming up at the top of the hour. It is 8 p.m. in the East, 5 p.m. in the West. If you're just joining us right now, as if this campaign couldn't get more historic and unprecedented, what law enforcement officials are now investigating as a possible assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. That is the moment you see in the video right there. All this playing out in Butler, Pennsylvania. This was a major campaign event that Donald Trump was hosting before the Republican National Convention was set to take place in Milwaukee this week. All eyes were on this rally as there was word that a potential running mate pick would be made within the next 48 hours or so. And many people were watching this to see if the former president would hint as to who
he's not going to choose Pence again? Come on.
was going to pick. And instead, several minutes into the rally, multiple reports of shots fired, what witnesses described as popping sounds. And then you saw the former president right there ducking down, diving behind the podium. And then Secret Service rushing towards the former president, jumping on him and forming sort of a human shield as other law enforcement officers jump on the stage. You see them there with the long guns and the tactical gear looking into the crowd. And then these remarkable images coming in. The former president with what appears to be blood dripping from his right ear being escorted off the stage.
Yeah, bottom line is, if this was a false flag or whatever, if this was orchestrated from the side of Donald Trump, then it was a fucking brilliant fucking political tactic. If this was genuinely coming from the opposition, then this was the dumbest fucking thing you could have ever done. Oh my God, dog, stop barking. Wait a second. I'm gonna mute my microphone for a second and make sure someone takes her out. Let me play this.
Stage. There was also a moment there with the former president pumping his fist as the crowd started cheering when they saw that he was okay. The president then escorted into his motorcade, taken off to a nearby medical facility. Reports from the Trump campaign and the Trump family telling us that the former president is doing fine, that he's okay, that he's receiving medical treatment, but never giving us any specifics as to whether or not he was injured in any way beyond what we can see in this video. The DA in Butler County there, Pennsylvania, telling ABC News that the shooter is dead, also telling us that at least one bystander was killed and perhaps another. Witnesses that we've heard from tonight talking about blood in the stands behind the former president and people being carried away. It's unclear exactly what happened. We're still waiting on multiple sources from law enforcement to tell us, whether the threat is over. That's unclear. But again, the source information that we're getting right now is that law enforcement is treating this as a potential assassination attempt against the former president until they get information that it wasn't. Let's go back to Rachel Scott, who's our senior congressional correspondent, also has been covering the campaign for us. Rachel was inside the arena during this event and while we were on the air for World News, and it was minutes later when she heard those shots ring out. Rachel, you've now been escorted outside. You've been with us the entire evening. What are sources telling you now?
They're not harm anybody. Yeah, this is the scene that's happening right now. We were escorted outside of the Trump rally. We are still not far from where those shots rang out inside.
Yeah, I kind of believe, I kind of agree with you, Purple Dragon. Purple Dragon says, I was thinking at first maybe Trump had this set up for sympathy votes, but with two gone, one being the suspect, possibly a third death, I believe it's real. Oh my God. See, with the innocent bystanders getting killed, yeah, I absolutely share your sentiment. I share your thoughts and everything there. I think though, if it was something set up, then I think that it's likely that the shooter would have been taken out then too. Though the shooter might not have signed up for that. I mean, because think about it. Think about if you can't leave any loose ends if you actually set something like this up. You cannot run the risk of this blowing up in front of your face. You can't. I mean, that's, oh my God, it would be horrible. Well, I mean, if you would deserve it, but you know what I mean? So, but yeah. What's going on here? All right, let me go back. I'm gonna press play again.
I just want to show you right here. There's been so much conversation about the security. These white tents right here. This is where Trump supporters were screened by Secret Service. This is typical at a Trump rally, standard with events with the former president. You go through magnetometers, you go through metal detectors, your bags are then searched. There are certain items like large bags that are prohibited from being entered into this facility. And then you are screened and you go inside of these rallies. Off into the distance there, this is the area that is now an active crime scene. We were inside the moment that this happened. We were on air with you live for World News Tonight. Then the former president took the stage. Within several minutes of the former president being on the stage, we heard these popping noises, one right after another, after another, after another. And then there were those screams. We heard screams from the crowd, people yelling, people shouting to get down, people shouting gunfire, gunfire, cover. We, along with other Trump supporters, then ducked for cover. We took off going below the riser. We covered ourselves, covered our heads. We watched as Trump supporters tilted out of their chairs, covered themselves as well, shielded themselves. We've talked to a number of Trump supporters, one telling me all she could do was just close her eyes and pray. She just said she was praying and praying, hoping that everything would be okay. Those screams went on what felt like for several minutes. I know it was just only a matter of seconds, but it really encapsulates just sort of the frantic terror and the chaos that people were feeling in that moment, confused about what was going on. Initially, we did hear shots of gunfire.
Yeah. Does anyone know where Melania's been past? No, I'm kidding.
Fire and get down, but we did not know for sure. Then within just a few moments after that, we saw that image and we were there live. We witnessed it along with the former president's supporters who were in the crowd. The former president who was protected and shielded by Secret Service agents, who was knocked to the ground. They protected him. He then rose up. We saw him put his fist up in the air. The crowd then cheered. Many people telling me they were relieved to see that the former
Michael's outside and his parents just stopped by. So there's like standing out in front of the house talking, and the dog's just flipping out, and it's driving me nuts. And I'm going to make him take the dog out with him in a second because it's loud for me, and I'm not even like on the other end of a microphone, you know, like you guys are. Oh my God, Clever, chill out. Okay, I'm gonna look at this.
He's been escorted into his own vehicle and he was taken away immediately. Meanwhile, our eyes then went over to the bleachers. As you know, during these Trump rallies, the former president loves a crowd. He has his supporters all around him. He wants these to feel as intimate as possible, even though there are hundreds and hundreds of people there. So off over to the bleachers, what we then noticed were Secret Service agents and law enforcement officials. They were swarming what appeared to be one or possibly two individuals. And that is when all of us just sort of remained in that area. Law enforcement officials were telling everyone to still stay down to make sure they could get the situation under control. After several more moments, we did see law enforcement officials and Secret Service agents then take one individual away. I did notice that there was blood on the bleachers on that side.
Okay, I'm going to take a break from this real quick. I'm going to read an article announcing Richard Simmons' death. Richard Simmons' death. I have to say, though, I kind of suspected something was up with him, like maybe he had been sick or something, because of the recent tweets he was putting out. They're very endearing. Like he was like going through like the memories of his life and reaching out to people who touched him and everything in life, and made sure that to put a tweet out there and let them know. And it was just like, why are you doing this, man? You know, I don't know. It's sad though. But here, let me share this. Okay. So Richard Simmons, dead at 76. Eccentric fitness guru Richard Simmons, known for his unrelenting positivity, has died, according to his representative. Dog. Simmons just celebrated his 76th birthday on Friday. The Los Angeles Police Department responded to his home after a 911 call from his housekeeper and found Simmons dead, according to police sources. He appears to have died of natural causes, and no foul play is suspected, the sources said. Simmons had spooked fans just 3 months ago when he posted that he was dying on Facebook, writing in March, I didn't even know that. I have some news to tell you. Please don't be sad. I am dying. Oh, I can see your faces now. The truth is, we are all dying. Every day we live, we are getting closer to our death. He later clarified that he was not actually dying, but that the message was intended to encourage everyone to embrace every day that we have. Simmons has been out of the public eye lately, though there were reports of a biopic being made about the fitness enthusiast earlier this year. Why is this coming up? No. Simmons criticized the reports, writing, "Don't believe everything you read. I no longer have a manager, and I no longer have a publicist. I just tried to live a quiet life and be peaceful." Simmons posted prolifically on social media, often several times a day. He posted about his birthday on Facebook a day before his death, writing, "Thank you. I never got so many messages about my birthday in my life. I'm sitting here writing emails, having a most beautiful rest of your Friday." He told his fans in March that he'd had skin cancer removed from his face, but was now doing well. I know some of you reading this have had cancer or have known someone in your life who has had cancer, he wrote. Promise me you will see your doctor and get a complete checkup. He was born Milton Teagle Simmons in New Orleans on July 12, 1948, but adopted the name Richard while growing up. Simmons has often talked about how he was overweight as a child, which led him to his weight loss journey and pursuit of a career in fitness starting in the 1970s and 80s. His first foray into weight loss came with the opening of his gym, Slimmons, in Beverly Hills, California. I didn't know that. It's funny. He released his first book, Never Say Diet, in 1980. The book was the first of 12 he would release in his career. His line of fitness videos exploded in popularity in the 1980s, along with nationwide fitness craze that included a growing popularity of aerobics and jazzercise. His videos, including the Sweatin' Through the Oldies series, became some of the most popular videos of the era. Simmons also made regular TV appearances, including as a regular on talk shows from The Late Show with David Letterman to The Rosie O'Donnell Show. He also had a regular role on the soap opera General Hospital and made guest appearances as himself on shows such as Arrested Development and The Larry Sanders Show. He also hosted his own talk and fitness show, The Richard Simmons Show, from 1980 to 1984. The show won 4 Daytime Emmy Awards. Okay, that's it. Oh, that's sad. It really is sad. I remember my sister doing his workout in the 80s when I was a little kid. One of my sisters would do his workout, and my mom would do the Jane Fonda workout. All right, let me go back over here. I'm playing
on that.
I'm going to get it back.
As an apparent political assassination attempt, but calling for calm.
Get all the way up to the end there, yeah. Thank you. My computer is so slow, it drives me nuts.
What I would say serious condition. I don't know their condition at this point, but we do have at least 2 spectators that sustained injuries, or obviously the first one passed away from the shooter.
Forgive me, just to confirm, so the shooter is dead. You noted that, but earlier we reported possibly 2 spectators were killed. So now you're saying, just to clarify, 1 was shot and killed, another one sustained serious injuries. Their condition at this point, unknown?
That is correct. Yes.
What the?
Do we know anything?
Oh my God! No! What was that news? What was that anchor doing? Oh my God! Watch him. How he takes his glasses off at that. It's such a dramatic little take. Watch.
Killed. Another one sustained serious injuries. Their condition at this point, unknown.
That is correct.
Is it just me?
Do we know anything?
I gotta see that
unknown?
one more time.
Another one sustained serious injuries. Their condition at this point, unknown.
Oh my God.
That is correct. Yes.
Do we know anything about this shooter?
At this point, no.
I respect this. It's
Is
just
it a-
like a
is it a
Polly
man?
Shore.
I don't even know if it's male or female, to be honest with you. So.
Okay, so we don't know if it was male or female. Was the shooter, is it believed that the shooter was actually in the venue or fired the shots from outside?
I can confirm the shooter was not within the venue.
I'm going to put that one up on the street. There we go. Non Sequitur Show says, this just in, Katie Joy claims she was the intended target by the shooter and Trump just got in the way. Want to bet she finds a way to interject herself as a victim? Just like the time she was shot in Vienna. I know what you meant. Yeah, I almost read it the way you typed it up. I'm like, I think he meant to put a D there. Yep. Oh God, that's funny.
The shooter was on the roof of a building that was adjacent to the venue, and so they would not have had to go through the security process of entering the rally and be subject.
Oh, it is someone typing on their stream. Okay.
To the search and everything.
Forgive me, I was just getting some information in my ear as you were speaking. So the shooter, not
And I
in the
heard nothing
venue,
of
on
what
the
you just
roof
said.
adjacent to the venue. So is it believed then that some of these other shots that we heard witnesses describe, that was law enforcement returning fire? Was it law enforcement who took the shooter out?
That can't confirm.
That's a yes.
No, I can't confirm that. I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
it's not clear how the shooter died.
Correct. At this point, we don't know. I don't know. How about that? I don't know at this point.
Fair enough. I understand. And forgive me, I know it's a fluid situation and information is coming in piece by piece.
Extremely, yes.
Richard, just your take in general. This is obviously a tragic moment in this country. I mean, not only do we have this act of political violence, we have bystanders, people out there just exercising their right to support a candidate, potentially shot and killed. What are you feeling at this time?
I mean, it's terrible. I mean, first of all, I'm embarrassed for my community that this happened here. I am disgusted and sad that somebody actually lost their life as a result of this. And unfortunately, it appears to be just almost, I don't want to say a microcosm, but the state of our country, where we are right now and how divided we are. And somebody would resort to something like this to, well, I don't know the motives, but potentially affect a presidential election. And it's really sad. I mean, we need to, I agree with President Biden. We need to come together. We need to unite because of this. And I hope that maybe, something bad like this happening, good can come of it after the fact.
Yes, let's all hope that that could be the case, and perhaps this country could have a moment of unity in what has been a very divisive time, and only getting painful by the minute here as we get more details about what happened. I do want to ask you about the bystanders. Do we know any information about them, where they were seated during this event?
I don't have that information at this point. I'm going to guess that they were probably seated behind President Trump, based on the whole thing, but I don't know. I shouldn't even speculate.
Understood. Again, Richard Goldinger, we truly appreciate you taking the time this evening, and we're wishing the very best. Our hearts go out to you and your entire community as you try to build back from this tragedy. Thank you again. I want to go to, let's go back to Martha Raddatz in Washington. Martha, I know that you've been talking to not only law enforcement sources, political sources, but also folks in the military. Who were describing what they heard with those gunshots. We got some more information from the district attorney there. The suspect who was shot and killed, and we're not sure how, we're careful to point that out, was on a rooftop adjacent to the venue. What does that tell you, and what's the reaction you're getting from your sources?
Well, it certainly was a ways away from President Trump. And that in the beginning, when I started talking to people who are familiar with weapons and who heard that gunfire on the tape, said they were certain it was probably a ways away from the actual venue outside the security zone. And it sounds like that has proven to be true. There were several shots you could hear, and they were very distinct, at least 2 or 3, possibly more shots. And
Jesus Christ. I was muted. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know there, Haiti Jonas. So, as I was saying, that nobody fucking heard, Oh, yeah, that's right. So I had it muted real quick because I want to just grab a quick screen grab on my iPad of that news segment part there with the anchor just took his glasses off like that. Like this, I don't know. I want to post that, but and then I was looking at the comments here. This is absolutely going to help Biden or help Trump. But I mean, they're saying Biden is done and everything. Like I kind of feel like Biden was already on his own pathway to becoming done all on his own. You know, I mean, nothing against the dude or whatever. I don't really care. It's not even like that. But I think every human, especially when in something like politics, in a field like politics, there comes a point in time where you just need to fucking retire. And I think Biden has long since passed that point. I think Trump has too, for that matter. I mean, it's not even like that, but I think Trump does have his wits about him a little bit more than Biden. So I don't really want to see either one of them elected, but yeah, there should be an age cap. Yeah, exactly. And I think that there should be term limits too. Like I know that there is for the president, obviously, but for everything, for any and every elected or appointed position, there should be limits. Whether that be the Supreme Court or mayor or whatever, you know, there should be term limits. And yeah, neither one of them should be allowed to run at their age. Yeah, I agree. I mean, nothing against people their age or whatever like that, but I mean, it's not gonna. You have to just. We got to be realistic here. Anyone who's going to be pushed or supported to run for president, really, they're not going to be able to accomplish too much in just one term. So you have to assume, or at least assume to want a two-term president whenever you support someone for president. And then you have to realize that if something happens where that person is unexpectedly unable to serve for those full two terms, like I don't know, maybe because like they died of natural causes or something, you know, or old age or whatever, or Alzheimer's, you know, a myriad of things. And I know it sounds ageist, I know it does, but I mean, bottom line is we get older, and believe me, I'm learning this myself, and it sucks. But as we get older, we do become more limited in some areas. So yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing for the country if we're supporting someone knowing that there's a giant risk that they're not going to be able to fulfill the terms, the time. So I think they'll crack down on Antifa terrorizing citizens. I don't know. But how is Antifa terrorizing citizens? All right. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just gonna say this right here. I don't really care about politics. I have for years. I attended protests. I did all this shit and everything, but I don't know if it's just in my old age or what. I don't really care about politics anymore because it's not about Republican versus Democrat. It's not even about like the wealthy versus the haves versus the have-nots. You know, I mean, I think it's closer to that, but it's not even about that. It's just, I don't know. It's just about a group of people who just really want to take advantage of everything as much as they can. And they're calling on us to prop them up in which to do so. That's how I look at it. So I think that there are extremists all around. Where you find human beings, you will find extremists, and no matter what the area, because humans are extreme at times. So that goes whether it's Antifa or it's the alt-right or whatever. And it's just like, it's two sides of the same coin. I don't even know how Antifa can be classified as such. I mean, don't you need to be an established group with leadership and everything? I mean, last I knew, Antifa was just, I don't know, like, there wasn't any such thing like that until maybe extremists started adopting it or something. I don't know. But regardless, call it whatever you want. Whatever. They'll just change the name. Oh, I agree, Beach and Beth. I absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. no matter what side you're on, political violence is unacceptable. Abso-freaking-lutely. Like, the whole point, if you're going to run for something and you be in a race and compete, then you have to realize that the second your opponent is eliminated by other means or whatever, then that's it. You lost. Game over. Like there's no more. So why? No, you don't want to see anyone get hurt. If you want to win, if you want to have a race and whatever, then you need both people to survive to the end of the race. You start taking people out and it's no longer a race. Then it's just a terror. And no one's going to vote for that. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. How old are they? They're in their 70s, Leah. Like late 70s, I think. Like close to 80. And I hate to say shit like that, because like my family came in to my work earlier today, and my aunt was with my family, and I didn't even realize that she's in her 80s, because I know she's older than my dad, and my dad would have been like 78 or so now. And it just dawned on me as I was talking to her, I'm like, wait a minute, if he would have been 78, then how old are you? Because I knew she was older. And she's got her wits about her. She's like the same freaking aunt I've known my entire life, except she needed help to get up on the high top chair. That's it, So I hate to say this, I know they realize that there are exceptions, but I mean, I don't think she'd want to be president though either. So there's that. Well, of course they're going to blame it on them. So they'd be stupid not to. I mean, if their objective is to win, that's their goal. That's their objective, and for argument's sake, we'll say that this was completely and totally spontaneous. No one had anything to do with anything. And this, they'd be stupid not to capitalize on this. Either side, if this were reversed and it were Biden up there, you bet your ass Biden and his team or whatever would capitalize the shit out of it. Absolutely. Because they'd be stupid not to. Joe was 81. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
We don't know yet whether we were hearing not just the shooter, but those who then took out the shooter. But when I look at this video, and we've all looked at it over and over, and you see President Trump get up and put that fist in the air. We've now heard from his family. We now have heard that former President Trump is okay. But this is an incredibly sobering moment for former President Trump, for his family, and for the country. There is always a possibility something can go wrong. He is surrounded by security doing the best job they possibly can, the Secret Service, but these things can happen. And when he goes out there again, he is going to be thinking of this, whether he keeps that fist in the air, whether you can't keep him down. This is something that has got to be in the back of your mind. Back in 2016, just 4 days before the election back there, he was taken off the stage by Secret Service when someone shouted gun. There wasn't a gun. He was okay. Nothing happened. But even that, I mean, you can see that moment of fear in someone's eyes, and they have a right to be afraid in something like this. I also think what we're going to have to see in the coming days, and we talk about this divided country, we talk about this heinous act, is who this shooter is, what the motive actually was, where they come from, why they did this. This will be pivotal in how the country reacts, how former President Trump's supporters act. This is something we really have to keep our eyes on in the coming days.
And not to mention the serious questions about security. I know you and many of us have been to these Trump rallies before, and you go through so much security to get inside the venue, and the metal detectors, and they check your bags and everything. There are prohibited items, things you cannot bring inside. But to get this information from the DA now that the suspect was on top of a roof adjacent to the venue, that raises serious questions about whether something, a potential threat, was overlooked.
Well, I think, again, you cannot protect someone from everybody. There are ways to get to people. I think on the venue itself, obviously, and we've all been there, and they go through the magnetometer. But if you are a long way away and you have a weapon, I know certainly they have probably snipers positioned in certain places, but I've been to events too and think, oh, wow, look at that building over there. Someone could get up there. I hope they have somebody there. They are not in every single spot at every single rally. And that's what people take advantage of. I mean, I think the Secret Service would be the first to say we do our absolute best. We lock down what we can, but people keep trying and they keep trying to get in. But we will learn more on that too. Any kind of investigation going forward, which will take weeks, months, probably years, how this happened.
Yes, this is just the very beginning. Martha Raddatz, thank you so much. I do want to go back to another witness here, Stephen Lasko, who was at the Trump rally. Stephen, if you can hear me, I understand you were only about 100 feet.
Just because I like a good timeline. I'm trying to find out the exact time in which this occurred. And it looks like one of the first reports on it, about it was at 6:43. So like 2 hours and 1 minute ago. So I don't know if that was, I don't think that was the exact time that this occurred, but no, wait, it's 1842. So there's earlier one, 1840, 1837. Updated 1852. All right. So 1852, or no, wait. No, 1837, my bad. Okay. So 6:37 is the earliest I can find. And so there's 6:37. And then this right here. This is, I don't know what to think. Okay. I don't. And I had no reason to doubt any of this shit or whatever. But this right here is what kind of just makes me stop and, like look at it side eye a little bit. So 6:37. And then there's this. Donald Trump Jr., he'll never stop fighting to save America. There's his father, blood on his face, his fist up in the air, American flag just flowing like almost like angelically in the background there, surrounded by Secret Service. This was at 6:46 p.m. So this was like within 10 minutes or 11. Yeah, within 10 minutes. That's, I don't know. I get, you want to capitalize on it. You want to, take advantage of the opportunity or whatever. I get that. But this just seems a little quick. It doesn't settle right with me. For whatever reason, it doesn't. It could mean nothing. It just doesn't. Where was it?
In having a good time, and you heard one shot, two shot. It sounded like bang, nothing crazy, and then you heard maybe 3 or 4 more, and that's when everyone got quiet, started panicking.
Oh my God, you're right.
Trump dropped right to the floor. I guess Secret.
So I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, but I keep looking at you, and I don't want to talk over this and if people miss things. But so Haiti journalist, I was getting my nails done when it came on the news. That's my story forever. If anyone asks, where were you when that happened? Oh my God, I know, right? I remember my mom telling me that her story of her lifetime or whatever generation was where were you when Kennedy was shot? With us, it was 9/11. Where were you when 9/11 happened? And me, I was a courier. So I was driving around in my car listening to Howard Stern because Howard Stern stayed on the air throughout the whole thing. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.
Service jumped on top of him and shielded him, but as soon as everyone in the crowd figured out what was going on, we all ducked, and my buddies just jumped on top of me, piled on top of me. We didn't know what was going on. You're a little you're shook, and
I don't know what the plot to The Boys is. I don't even know what The Boys is.
You can't feel your legs, but we were trying to decide if we wanted to get up and run, and we had really no idea what to do. And next thing you know, you see bullets, or you hear bullets flying, and I believe.
Could you
a
imagine
bullet
though if they
hit
did give
the,
that fucker a Purple Heart
like
for the
hydraulic lift
Mr.
that was
Golden
holding up the
Spurs?
speakers, and that thing almost collapsed. There was hydraulic fluid and water spitting everywhere all over the crowd. And before you know it, everyone just gets up and starts running. But
And
Trump
Stephen,
did,
oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay, but on that note about everybody getting up and running, we're actually showing video that you shot on your cell phone. And this is the moment of people running out of the venue. Describe what that was like, and when were you actually able to get out?
It was pretty stressful. You know, I'm looking around trying to make sure all my buddies who came with me were with me. And, you know, it took probably a good 10 minutes to get out of there, to get out of the whole area. And, you know, before you know it, there's ATVs, UTVs flying and ambulances and all that kind of stuff. And we're trying to figure out how to get out of there and get home. But you know, we made it. And when we walked out to the road, they had, you know, police blocking everything off. And we actually found out where the building was that the shooter was shooting from. They had it all taped off. I guess it was like an agricultural warehouse, something like that. So, you know, it was pretty scary. It's like you're in the movies.
Stephen, forgive me again. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay with the connection, but did you say that you were able to see the building that the shooter was allegedly perched on top of here? You said it was taped off by law enforcement. What did it look like?
It was like a kind of like an airplane hangar, maybe, you know, like a warehouse for agricultural equipment, I guess. ARC, AGC, something like that on the side. But once we were out, maybe 30, 40 minutes after, you know, they were taping it off, investigating it. They had the dogs going and all that stuff. But, you know, there was traffic jams everywhere. It was kind of hard to.
How far away was that area from where the former president was standing?
Maybe 300, 400 yards, maybe less, honestly.
And Stephen, when you hear that people who were there in the crowd with you, other bystanders, at least one, maybe more, were killed, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, still kind of numb to it. You know, it's hard to process all this. You know, your heart rate is.
All right, so I'm looking at the comments here. Oh my God, I was getting a haircut when I heard Selena was murdered. Oh my God. I was at work as an inbound CSR. I found out from a customer flashbacks of the war I went. Oh man, the war I went through. It doesn't help that both happened on Tuesday, 9/11, Chile, 1973, USA, 2001. Holy shit. I was in school in the 7th grade for 9/11 in New York City, so it was pretty scary. Oh my God. Especially when we were told some of our parents might not make it home that night. Oh my God. I remember when the Challenger blew up too. I was in school for that. I kind of remember. I remember it, but it didn't really register to me like what had just occurred. I just remember seeing all the teachers crying and shit because, you know, of course they put us all in a classroom, you know, to like watch the thing happen. I don't think we ever watched another lunch though after that or anything. Yeah. God, that's got to be scary though. Being in New York City for that. You know, I read something. I don't know if this is true or not. I really haven't verified it, but I didn't read it. I'm sorry. No, it was a YouTube video that we were supposed to get a hurricane when 9/11 happened. Like it was there was a hurricane coming in. It was going to be a pretty massive one. It was supposed to hit like directly in like the tri-state area there, Long Island and everything. But because of a cold front coming in from the west, it kicked and the hurricane's name was Erin too. It was ERIN, girl Erin. The cold front coming in from the west, so kicked it out to sea like that morning, just hours before. And because of that, the weather was just like perfect. It was, you know, exactly ideal for flying and shit. That's crazy. If it's true, I didn't verify it, but if it's true, that's crazy.
Through the roof, but you know, best wishes for their family, and you know, they were supporting the country that they love. And in the meantime, it's definitely sad, and you know, it's heartbreaking, honestly.
And Stephen, we've been hearing from people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans, Democrats, independent candidate, RFK Jr., and all with the same sentiment, condemning political violence, saying there's no place in this country for something like this. And I just wonder, from your perspective too, you're out there, you're exercising your right to support a candidate. What message do you have for people out there? Because the country is at this political boiling point. There's so much division and anger and hatred right now from one side and the other. What would you like to tell people?
At the end of the day, whether you're on the left, the right, the center, or you don't believe in politics at all, we all still put our pants on in the morning. We all breathe the air and go to work, and a lot of these issues, in 10 years, no one even thinks about them or cares about them. So we're all people at the end of the day, and it's not worth taking someone's life over political beliefs or whatever. It's just senseless.
Well, Stephen, I think many people would agree with those words. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing that video, and we're so glad and thankful that you.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen. So I looked up where the Trump rally was, and it was at a place called Butler Farm Show. It's like a fairgrounds type or whatever. This is it right here. Fairgrounds, yeah. So, and they're saying they think that the gunman was set up or whatever in like a hangar, I think was the word. It's some sort of agriculture type building. Now, I'm assuming that the rally was like here in the field part. So I don't know where they would have been set up at, but if it was a hangar, I mean, this would have been too close, I think, right here, right on the left here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not, the arrow, but right to the direct left of the red dot, I think that would have been too close. And the same
Okay. Oh, now I can see that on my phone. I don't know what the fuck happened. I went through, I tried 3 different microphones and they worked everywhere. I had to set up on iMac, or through system preferences. I made sure I had to set up through Google. I had to set up through StreamYards, but nothing, it wouldn't play. It just wouldn't fucking play. Oh, all right. Let me go back and now I tried a Bluetooth one and I wanted to switch out of that because this one sucks. I think. And we'll go back to this one. Okay. Does it look like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you guys can still hear me. Okay. So I went back to using my real microphone now. Now I can see that it's working. I'm seeing the little echo sounds or whatever. I don't know what that, something's up with this, with my StreamYards, I think, because whenever I share screen and I just go to a different tab and you're given this option where it says share this tab instead, I choose that option. But whenever I do choose that option, if I'm going into something where I'm going to require sound or video, the sound won't come through it. I have to end the share and then create a new share to get the audio back. But for some reason, while I'm switching about through the tabs, it seems to be dropping my microphone as well. That's new. It wasn't doing that before, but now it seems to be doing that. Fucking annoying. Anyway, as I was saying before, I was rudely just fucking muted by my own fucking streaming software. Now let's see here. I want to make sure I still have volume. I still have the microphone. Yeah, okay. All right. So I looked up where the rally was, and it was at a place called Butler Farm Show. It's like a fairgrounds in Pennsylvania, and this is the map of it. And it looks like right here is the actual farm fairgrounds, anyways. But the person we were listening to in the interview there was saying that he saw like a bunch of like tape or whatever going around a building, like they were cutting off a building there or whatever. And he called it a hangar. So, and I'm looking around and I think like that's right here to the left of the red dot here and to the right, I think it's too close, so, and it sounded like they're saying the shooter sounded like they were farther away. So, and up here, like these small little weirdly positioned buildings, I don't think would be it. And I keep into mind, how the person called it a hangar, and right here is an actual airport right here. So these would be hangars right here. So I wonder if maybe this is where he was talking about. I mean, possibly this building over here too, over by Lakeside Road over here to your right. But those aren't hangars, but they do look like pole barns. So kind of. So maybe I don't know, you just used the wrong word. I don't know. And that's assuming, though, that the rally was right where the red dot is. The rally could have been over here near the airport. Who knows? And if that's the case, then you have all these hangars and everything over here to your left. So who knows? I don't know. All right. I'm going to stop hearing that. I'm going to go back to this. Okay. Let's try and get caught up so we can get the info.
Now, minute by minute and hour by hour, and it's very possible that things change. The security around a convention is intense. As you know, it is very, very difficult to get anywhere near an arena. There are multiple checkpoints, metal detectors. It's much harder than just going through airport security. There are a lot of layers of security, but then again, there's a lot of layers of security at events from presidential candidates, and the lapse or apparent lapse that occurred in Pennsylvania today is definitely going to impact the way that things are planned here. And if it were to go ahead, I would predict that Milwaukee's going to be something of a fortress. It's going to be very difficult to go or do anywhere, and everyone will be on an extra set of alerts, maybe rightfully so. I also think that people are going to be looking at this event in a much different light. I think the images and the words coming out from the former president about the importance of standing strong at this moment are powerful ones. I've heard from a couple of delegates already who just said they've been impressed by the way that Trump and his team have handled this. I think this changes the nature of a convention, even though the convention itself, as of now, set to start in less than 48 hours.
Rick Klein, thank you so much. Let's go back to Aaron Katersky, our senior investigative correspondent. Aaron, you're getting more information, details about the shooting itself.
Secret Service just a moment ago put out a statement saying that during the Trump campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, at approximately 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, a suspected shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside of the rally venue. The Secret Service personnel neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. The Secret Service, the statement says, quickly responded with protective measures, and former President Trump is safe. One spectator was killed, 2 spectators were critically injured, and the incident is under investigation. That's an official statement from the U.S. Secret Service. Law enforcement sources would tell ABC News the shooter was at a distance of 200 to 300 yards away in an elevated position. He was on a rooftop adjacent to the venue, and those same law enforcement sources are telling ABC News he fired as many as 8 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle.
And Aaron, this information that you bring us also lines up with what we've been hearing from witnesses. Many of those who were fleeing the venue itself, talking about a separate location, a rooftop that was then taped off with caution tape. The law enforcement dogs were searching the area. So again, as we've been on the air now for a number of hours, it's sort of this drip, drip, drip of information. But I wanted to pick up, Aaron, with a question that I was thinking about when Rick Klein was talking there from Milwaukee. Because even though, and you know this because you've done so much reporting about the heightened threat level across this country and the warnings that law enforcement have had about the threat of political violence. In this situation,
oh my God, stop yelling.
They're treating it as a potential assassination attempt. Law enforcement across the country must just be scrambling to sort of change their protocols and procedures to try to deal with any sort of massive event, especially as it pertains to any political venue.
Well, the political venues are usually come upon quite quickly. The campaigns will choose them. The Secret Service will do some kind of a security assessment and do what they think they need to do to keep the protectee, in this case, former President Trump, safe. Now, they undoubtedly would have accounted for nearby rooftops. We'll wait to see whether this individual, this shooter who is now dead, was in position beforehand, or whether may have tried to access the rooftop while in full view of others, and how police and the Secret Service may have reacted to that. But this is certainly going to have an impact on how police and the Secret Service go about securing these venues in the future, especially at a time when the threat environment in the country is so complicated. All the more so by the rather heated political environment we're in now, just months before the next presidential election.
And Aaron, another thing that you've reported on in the past, and I think it's worth noting here, because we don't know the motive behind this attack. We don't know who this shooter was. So that information is still to come. But regardless of whether that specific threat was neutralized, right, if it was one shooter or if there are other people who could have been involved, regardless of that fact, Aaron, you often talk about the threat of a lone wolf who could be inspired by an event. And so law enforcement has to be looking at this and also saying, okay, well, it's one thing to foil a potential plot. It's another thing if you've got somebody with a grudge who's motivated by what they saw on TV.
And I think any law enforcement official would tell you certain.
What do you mean they lied about Reagan first? I mean, because Reagan didn't die. So what were they lying about? I think that they lied a little bit about like his health issues toward the end of his presidency. Wasn't he showing signs of like Alzheimer's or some shit? Like, is that what you mean, or are you talking about like the shooting? Said it was serious, and they said it was serious, and he just got a minor wound. Oh, they lied about how serious. Okay. Did they, with Reagan, did they make it sound like it was more serious than it was? That's interesting. Or did they make it sound like it was less serious? I think that they probably tried to make it sound like it was less serious. Because, I mean, I feel like with Lincoln and even with Kennedy, like they postponed or prolonged having to tell the country as long as they could, right? No, they made it seem less serious. Okay. All right. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. Interesting, though. Well, yeah, that's right too. When he was shot, he was still shot like during like the Cold War and shit when that was still kind of strong, right? So they wouldn't want to tip off Russia probably in anything. I don't know. You don't remember anything dramatic about Reagan? Reagan smash. I watch Family Guy. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong one.
Are notoriously difficult to detect and to stop because there is almost no warning. And how many of these security bulletins, intelligence bulletins do we see where a lone actor is identified as the most significant threat, somebody who is willing to use violence, and in this case, we believe an AR-15 style rifle, and willing to do so without any apparent warning. So right now, the authorities no doubt know who the shooter is. They've undoubtedly identified the person by now and are going through social media, talking to witnesses, acquaintances, relatives, friends, anyone they can find to give them a sense of what the motive might have been. But the stark reality is that a lone actor who is willing to use a gun is very, very difficult to detect and to stop.
Aaron Katursky, thank you so much. As we come up on the top of the hour here at 9 p.m. in the East, I'm Whit Johnson in New York. And if you're just joining us, we are following all of these major developments after the shooting at a campaign rally. Former President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, was slightly wounded in the right ear, but we're told by his campaign, by his family, that he's doing fine. Authorities say the shots were fired from a rooftop adjacent to the venue, some 200 to 300 yards away. 8 rounds fired from an AR-style rifle. That information just reported by our Aaron Katursky. And the shooter was neutralized by the Secret Service. The shooter was killed.
So
Authorities say a second person, a bystander, is also dead. Also getting reports that another spectator may have been critically injured. The incident is being investigated now as a possible assassination attempt. The former president's son, Don Jr., says his father is under observation at the hospital and in good spirits. President Biden tonight coming before the cameras.
Yeah, I want to clarify too. Like, so it sounds like the shooting occurred at like 6:15. 6:15. So that makes it about a half an hour later that his son put the tweet up. So that sounds more realistic or reasonable or whatever. So I'm walking back what I was saying earlier.
Condemning the incident, saying there's no place in this country for violence. The former president himself also releasing a statement moments ago, thanking the Secret Service and law enforcement for their rapid response, describing the incident, saying he heard a whizzing sound and shots. Cameras. He was condemning the violence, saying all federal agencies are now engaged. He also tried to reach out to the former president personally to speak with him tonight. The incident all playing out before the cameras. The horrific moment here, the loud noises popping, the former president appearing to grab his right ear in that moment. Secret Service agents then rushing the stage, protecting him with their bodies like a human shield. Those anxious moments as everyone was waiting to see if Trump was okay.
This is the shocking moment. Chaos erupted at Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
You can hear several pops and see the former president grabbing his ear, ducking for cover behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the stage, surrounding Trump, shielding him, taking him down to the ground.
So I'm curious to see if any information has been slipped or let out or whatever regarding the shooter. I didn't think that there would be yet. But one thing though that really kind of fucking irritates me whenever any kind of tragedy or almost tragedy or whatever occurs, and especially like amongst two sides or whatever. So like, let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay. So like in this one article I'm reading on NBC or whatever, it's saying something like, so people are already starting to blame like Biden's rhetoric or whatever, and in the Democrats or whatever for and their rhetoric or whatever for causing this or whatever. No, this is bullshit. Because people get mad, people say shit. There's always rhetoric, always. People don't always get shot. People don't always shoot people. The only people there are to blame for this shooting is the shooter themselves. That's it. Nobody else is to blame. Nobody. It's like passing the responsibility too. Okay, so it's like saying the shooter couldn't help it because of the rhetoric. The rhetoric drove the shooter to do this. No, bullshit, because people say and do shit all the time that irritate us, that piss us off, that just even infuriate us at times. But we have a choice as to how we respond to it, how we react, and oftentimes, more often than not, I'm going to say we don't choose to go shoot people. So the decision to go shoot people relies nowhere else but the person making that decision, and that's the shooter. So I just want to say that because that irritates me. And, all right, I'm getting off my soapbox now.
Ground. The screaming crowd looking on in horror. A short time later, agents carefully lifting the former president up.
I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head, bloody.
Blood clearly seen on his face, Trump pumping his fist. Agents whisking the former president off the stage, down the stairs to a waiting armored SUV, rushing him to a local medical center.
We heard what we appeared to be gunfire coming. The former president was rushed off the stage right now with Secret Service. He's being escorted into his vehicle. This was a chaotic moment that just played out right here in Pennsylvania. People running and rushing to the ground as they heard those apparent shots fired.
Tonight, the Trump campaign releasing a statement saying the former president is fine and being checked out at a local medical facility.
Just hours ago, this area was lined with Trump supporters. They entered that tent right there to be screened by Secret Service, going through metal detectors, their belongings detected. Now, this is the space where you have Trump supporters that are leaving.
Hey there, Jay. What's up? How you doing? Since 1865, the U.S. president has been assassinated or attempted assassination once every 22 years on average. So America is exactly the place for political violence. Well, just because the stage is right for it doesn't mean that the play has to go on. The show doesn't always have to go on there, Jay. Sometimes it can just be canceled and people can shut the fuck up and go home. And I just because, okay, I'm a little jealous though. I am. I'll say this much. I'm a little jealous of these other political stats or whatever that happen in these other countries, overseas or whatever. But in case in point, New Zealand, because I would much, much rather have seen Trump get hit with a dildo in his face tonight than a bullet in his ear. Okay, that would have been so much fucking better. Okay, and chances are the shooter would have also survived that. I don't know, maybe. It is still America, so there's possibility that they would have met the same fate regardless. But it would have been so much better to have seen him get hit in the face with a fucking dildo, like New Zealand does, So just we need to adopt different ways in which to take out our frustration on things and people. So, and now I'm gonna have to look up that video. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, get to see what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, wrong one.
Leaving panicked and confused as Secret Service agents rush us out of this area and back to our cars.
Tonight, the crowd still in disbelief.
Tell me what you saw and what you heard. You said that you heard the popping sounds and you got down?
Sounds. At first you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down." We got down, and we huddled and we started praying.
Tonight, local officials telling ABC News those sounds were in fact gunshots, live rounds fired from outside the security perimeter. This is being investigated as an attempted assassination. And tonight, the local district attorney telling ABC News at least one person is dead and the shooter is dead as well. Tonight, President Biden addressing the nation.
I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors.
Holy shit, that was 8 years ago?
He's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot
so
be like this. We cannot condone this.
all right, so for those of you who are unaware of what it was I was referring to, with how it would have been much better to hit Trump in the face with a dildo. Let me show you. So this was 8 years ago, apparently, in New Zealand. If my screen, why is my shit running? I mean, my shit always runs slow, but this is ridiculously slow tonight. So this was okay, so this comes after Economy Minister Stephen Joyce was hit in the face by a plastic replica of male genitalia during a media conference. Okay.
Sex toys throwing is not a good look for New Zealand, according to the country's Prime Minister John Key. That comes after Economy Minister Stephen Joyce was hit in the face by a plastic replica of male genitalia during a media conference. He later said he saw the funny side in the incident.
Oh, look, it's fine. I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but we actually thought it was a little bit humorous at the end of it all.
Joyce was discussing the benefits of trans-Pacific.
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, he just basically got dick slap face on fucking live TV. And he's like, oh, it's all good fun, right? That's awesome, though. That's awesome. So, yeah, okay. And now I'm not advocating for anyone throwing or projectiling anything toward any politician's face. But if you have to do one or the other, choose the dildo. Don't choose the gun. Okay? That's my TED Talk for today. Oh, I know, right? Oh, Jay Summer says, I woke up the other morning and Trump was vice president of the United States and Putin was president of Ukraine. It's been a awful night. Yeah. We're fucked. We're so fucked. Yeah. Yep. Oh, God. I did shit going through my mind. I know. I got a fucked up mind. I'm not going to share, though. Am I going to share that again? Oops.
Damn it.
Those words from President Biden tonight saying everyone must condemn it, something that we've been hearing from politicians on both sides of the aisle. And Rachel Scott is back with us now. Rachel, you've been here since the beginning tonight. We were talking to each other during World News as the rally was just getting underway, and you're getting these perfect stories from witnesses, and you're with another one tonight.
Yeah, we're with a group of witnesses that saw what happened. I will tell you, hours ago, this area right here was filled with Trump supporters eager, waiting to go inside of that rally. Right now, tonight, this is an area where Trump supporters are gathering. They're left with shock about what happened. Tell me what you saw inside.
Yeah, I was just about like 30 feet from Trump, and then I saw the people that had been shot. And they were bringing them down in the stands right above me, and I just didn't want to get down. I just kept standing. But I saw, I saw the man that was hit in the head, and there was a lot of blood, and I knew there was no way he was going to survive that. And then there were two of them that they brought down, but it was like real chaos and chaotic. But I didn't get down, and so it was very interesting. We were just right there. About 40.
What was going through your mind as you saw that person with tons of blood on them?
Yeah, at first I was thinking, I thought different thoughts, like maybe this was the shooter and then he committed suicide, or maybe someone shot him. That's what my first thoughts were. I didn't think about just like someone that was in the stands. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And now knowing that someone was in the stands, how are you processing this?
No, I think we're all in shock here. We're numb. That this happened.
Can I say, when I heard this going on, I thought it was a firecracker. It's like with Kennedy, people thought it was a firecracker. And I looked, we were 20 yards away from Trump, and then we were 20 yards away from where I thought it was a firecracker, but then now I'm thinking maybe those were bullets that were going over our head. Yeah. And then they were saying, get down, get down, get down. I just wasn't processed.
Right, looking at the comments, it seems like a lot of people think China did it.
I think it's just like you're in shock. And I don't. How did the guy get the gun in there? How did he get the gun?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, because is this your first Trump rally?
No.
No. So I've covered a number of Trump rallies. I've been to almost every single Trump rally this cycle. You've been to a number as well. You're fully aware of the security precautions. Trump supporters, as they're making their way in, have to go through magnetometers. Your bags are searched, your pockets are searched as well. And so any area where you're around the former president, there is a sense of safety. And so to have this occur, what was going through your mind as you heard gunfire, get down, get down?
I think first I was in shock, but I do think I'm drawn to some of this kind of, I tried out for the Secret Service. I passed everything, but then they said, take your glasses off. That was the end of it. So my whole life would have been changed, but I couldn't see. But I guess I like to be where the action is in some ways. So, but I mean, not in this,
Really?
Obviously this is just horrible. It's horrible. But,
survived. That's good. It would have been horrible news, worse news if he had been killed. So that's good. At least we had that. But yeah, we're all in shock, and it's really something. I just got done saying every generation thinks, well, we're past that. We're not going to have any more assassination attempts, and then you have something else. And
my whole life, ever since I first turned 18, I've been registered as an independent. Only from during the 2016 election did I become a registered Democrat just so I could vote in the primaries. And I think I'm still a Democrat. Is that fireworks? I didn't know that why would there be fireworks out? What party? Oh, the Boilermaker.
No.
Different party. Saturday 13. I don't know what party he's talking about. So where I live, we have this yearly this annual road race called the Boilermaker, and it's a huge race. It's not quite Boston Marathon huge, but it's with Boston Marathon is the big show. Our race is the minors. But he says it's not for that. I don't know. It's got to be for that though, because the race is tomorrow morning. I don't know. Anyways, so. Oh, no, I don't really. Yeah, whatever. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. But first, before I do that, I want to leave you with something here. A quick little play here. Here we go. So for those of you who are here earlier in my stream, you know exactly what this is. For those of you who don't, just look at the way he takes off those glasses.
Serious injuries. Their condition at this point, unknown.
That is
serious injuries. Their condition at this point, unknown.
Unknown.
That is
dramatic effect. All right, I'm gonna go though because these things it sounds like they're right down the road, so they're gonna get loud and my dog's gonna start getting anxious and yeah, I kind of want to go watch them too. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here. I'll probably stream tomorrow sometime because I have the day off. So, bye. I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna play the music. I'm just gonna end it. Bye.